Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ringside Wrestling Entertainment YouTube channel. This is Joel Perez for your weekly episodic news show each and every single Saturday. We're bringing to you Behind the Mic. This is Behind the Mic episode number 28, and we've got a bunch of huge news for you here today. We're covering the biggest news stories in the week for the WWE right here on Behind the Mic. We've got some huge things to talk about here today, but before I get to those news stories, make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. There is so much of it this week. Your Monday Night Raw and Smackdown reviews, which are uploaded each and every single week, are up on the channel for this week. So if you want to go check the Monday Night Raw and Smackdown reviews out, make sure to do that. Great Balls of Fire happened this past Sunday. We had a review go up after that show went off the air. So if you want to hear my thoughts, my honest opinions on Great Balls of Fire 2017, make sure to go check out that review for that pay-per-view. And of course, Behind the Mic episode number 27, which went up last week, we were talking about AJ Styles winning the United States Championship at a house show, and of course, the release of Austin Aries. So a lot of big stuff going on last week on Behind the Mic. Of course, if you like what you're hearing here, make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. If you like what you're hearing here, make sure to like this video on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure to go check out all the other videos and like those videos. And if you like what you're hearing there, subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And of course, if you like, or if you have an opinion, I should say, if you have an opinion on any of the news stories in this video, make sure to comment your thoughts down below, because I love to hear feedback from all of you. But speaking of those news stories, we have some huge news stories here today. And of course, the main news story, Roman Reigns kicking Enzo Amore off of the WWE tour bus. He's getting huge backstage heat for it. We're talking about that here today on Behind the Mic. We've got some big news on the mystery persona that Kurt Angle's apparently going to reveal something with on Monday Night Raw next week. Apparently that mystery persona may have been revealed by Eric Bischoff. Oh my God, what a bitchy move by Eric Bischoff right there. We're talking about that on Behind the Mic. We've got huge news on Samoa Joe and an update on Samoa Joe. Will he fit into the Universal title plans going forward? We've got an update on that one right there, so some big news there. We've got news on Alberto El Patron, or in other words, if you exclusively watch WWE, Alberto Del Rio, and him being suspended from Global Force Wrestling, or in other words now, TNA, for his situation, which we're going to talk about for the first time here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, going on with Paige and his domestic violence case. So we've got some huge news on that one right there. We're talking about that one for the first time on here. We've got news on a Monday Night Raw superstar reportedly being criticized for his support of Donald Trump. That's ridiculous, but we're going to talk about that one. And don't mistake me as a Donald Trump supporter. I think Donald Trump is a buffoon, but I think you shouldn't be criticized for your political view. Your political view is your political view, but that's besides the point. We're going to talk about that when we're reporting that news story. But we've got news, finally, last news story, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, her appearance at the Mae Young Classic tournament and her absence from a huge UFC press event that was actually very, very huge for those women. So make sure to stay tuned ladies and gentlemen, because we have all this news and so much more right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel and right here on Behind the Mic, episode number 28. So make sure to stay tuned because we're going right into the news stories. We're going to start off the show here with this news story on Mr. Roman Reigns and him kicking fellow Monday Night Raw superstar, Enzo Amore off of a WWE tour bus. Apparently, due to this altercation, Roman Reigns now has major backstage heat. Recent WWE rumors indicate that Roman Reigns had a fellow Raw roster member removed from the WWE tour bus due to an ongoing backstage heat. In addition to that, it appears that Superstar might have also been denied access to the locker room. While this conjures up the stories that fans have heard about The Miz being banned from the locker room back in his early days, Mike The Miz is not the superstar involved in this incident. However, this sort of thing is a dangerous line for professional wrestlers to cross, as getting too much heat backstage with fellow superstars could lead to a nice future endeavors message out of nowhere. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter per Sportskeeda, the superstar in question is in fact Enzo Amore. It was reported that Enzo was removed from the WWE tour bus by top superstar Roman Reigns and also not allowed in the locker room. No reason for Enzo's backstage heat has really been given, but it is noted that the former tag team member was not too happy with the WWE's idea to break up his team with Big Cass. That move came over the past month or so, with the story on Raw showing that Enzo Amore has been attacked several times backstage. Eventually, it was revealed in a Raw closing segment that Big Cass was behind the attacks. The two former friends and tag partners faced off at last Sunday's Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, with Cass getting a dominant win in the match results. As of this report, it hasn't appeared that Enzo would be fighting Cass again, although that is a possibility as WWE tends to do feuds with 3 big matches. On this past week's Raw, The Big Show came to the ring to confront Cass in the opening segment of the show, suggesting they may battle at some point. However, Enzo Amore doesn't seem to really have a dance partner at this point, and one has to wonder if he'll become the latest Santino Marella on the roster. As far as Enzo Amore and Big Cass go, the two have a relationship together as friends outside of the wrestling ring. They've been partnered as a tag team since their days in NXT from about 2014 through 2016. Their call-up to the main roster quickly showcased them as one of the more popular acts with the crowd. The team failed to get that major push in which they captured the WWE Tag Team titles, even though they were involved in several matches with the championship belts on the line. It's been said that Cass, real name William Morrissey, has backstage heat as well due to strong vocal opinions in support of U.S. President Donald Trump, which is a story we will cover later on in the video. But, however, it still looks like WWE is happy enough to push Cass as the next big man heel based on his recent promos and feuds. Meanwhile, his former tag partner could be sinking himself with whatever he's doing to draw that backstage heat. As for now, fans of Enzo Amore will have to hope that he finds a way to get his act together and not get on the bad side of too many of the top stars in the company, or even worse, the bosses. Otherwise, the realest guy not in the locker room may end up not being in the WWE arena either. Wow, what a story there. I mean, I understand Enzo's frustration. It makes no goddamn sense that he and Big Cass were split at this time. But that doesn't mean you have to go around being a casshole about it. Look at my puns, bro. Nah, that was corny as hell, but moving on from that little side note. Don't think about that for too long. But Enzo, bro, you gotta control yourself when it comes to dealing with the bullshit decisions and the bullshit bookings that you're obviously going to be given. I mean, how much bullshit have superstars like The Big Show been given? How much bullshit have superstars like Heath Slater been given? Dean Ambrose himself, who is a top star, at least you can consider him in that upper echelon. Bray Wyatt, how much bullshit have they been given to work with? Yet they've taken that bullshit, and you're not hearing stories like this about them. But Enzo, the minute they split you from Big Cass, you don't even know what you're going to be doing beyond that yet. They could, for all we know, give Enzo something nice to do. He's already lashing out. That is very, very premature. I understand the frustration. It doesn't make sense for him to be split from Big Cass. A lot of us argued that. I argued that. There's a lot of reasons for it. The tag team division right now is bullshit. Enzo isn't going to be, or most likely is that Enzo's not going to be go on to be treated well. There's really not a place for Big Cass in that stacked mid-card to main event scene. There's really not a place there right now if you think about it. It's pretty stacked. So it really didn't make much sense, and I understand where Enzo's frustration is coming from. But you've got to find a way to channel that frustration. You've got to find a way to keep it professional in the workplace. And I mean, when you're going to allow your frustrations to come through, and when you're going to allow those frustrations to piss off other people in that locker room, like a Roman Reigns, bad things are going to happen. And this is what leads to a lot of people's releases in the WWE. I mean, Simon Gotch, I heard he had a bad attitude in the locker room. And a lot of people, including the guy who used to tag with him, Aiden English, wanted him gone. You look at Austin Aries. Austin Aries just got released last week. We don't know why, but one of the speculations of why he was released was the fact that he had a bad attitude backstage, in WWE when he did ask for his release, was quick to not put up a fight. They just said, you know what, this guy has a bad attitude anyways, as I bump into something right there. This guy has a bad attitude anyways, so you know what? Let it be. Let him go. So, I mean, those are the things that lead to your termination. It might not directly lead to your termination, but in the future, if you're being evaluated, if they need to let somebody go, or if you're asking for your release anyways, instead of them saying and them trying to convince you to stay, or trying to convince you to stay by giving you a better spot on the roster, they're going to say, you know what, this guy puts up a bad attitude, not a lot of people like him, let's just let him go, and you're out of the job, bro. You're out of the job, Enzo, and that's why it's not smart to be lashing out like this. I understand where you are coming from, bro. I understand where you are coming from. It's not the best. You're not in the best place of your career by now, by far. You had a high ceiling when you were with Big Cass, and you need to, and a lot of people get that. But that doesn't mean that you need to be lashing out like this and getting yourself kicked out of locker rooms, because if anything, that's making things a lot worse for you, bro, for you, and that's something you don't want. If anything, it would be more mature for Enzo to take this situation, handle it well, and then you look at the higher-ups, you look at the people in the locker room, and that has them grow more respect towards you, because they're going to say, wow, that was something, that was a decision where he was getting the fucking shitty end of the stick, and he handled it like a consummate professional. You know what? I respect that guy more. Vince McMahon looks at it, and he says, you know what? Enzo, despite the fact that he is clearly the Jannetty of this team, and Cass is the Shawn Michaels of this team, if Enzo would have handled this situation well, Vince McMahon might have looked at it and said, you know what? I might give Enzo a push just for the way he handled this situation. But now you're taking it, you're lashing out, similar to how Marty Jannetty did. Marty Jannetty, after he was split up from the Rockers, yeah, he had a downfall, bro. He had a downfall. I believe he got DUIs and shit. I mean, really, a bunch of shitty things happened. And Enzo, instead of falling down that road, should really be trying to climb back up, trying to handle this situation well. And right now, it doesn't seem like that's the case. And I'm glad that that guys like Roman Reigns are giving him repercussions, because if they do give him these repercussions, it's going to allow him to learn from his mistakes and grow as a human being. And hopefully Enzo does not make the same mistakes again, and hopefully he does not lash out, and hopefully he doesn't need to be kicked from the locker room. He doesn't need to be kicked from a goddamn tour bus by Roman Reigns. Hopefully Enzo can take this, grow, and move on, because if anything, it's worse for him out of anybody. It's worse for Enzo, and that's really not a story that you want to hear play out. I wish success for everybody in the WWE, each and every single person in that roster. I wish success for them. And right now, with this story, I'm concerned that we might be seeing in front of our eyes a story of failure go down with Enzo Amore. Leave your comments down below as far as what you think about this story. For now, we're going to move on Behind the Mic. This is a very interesting story here. Very, very interesting, because this has to do with one of the most interesting storylines on Monday Night Raw. Kurt Angle's mystery angle or mystery guest on Monday Night Raw next week, or his mystery phone call, revealed by Eric Bischoff. The WWE rumors about the mystery person Kurt Angle was speaking to during last week's Raw episode may have been spoiled by a former Raw general manager. Eric Bischoff recently spoke on his wrestling podcast and may have spilled the details of who the big reveal will be when Monday Night Raw returns to television in just a few days from now. It could be the sort of shocking revelation that gets everyone talking and wondering about what's next. Fans who want to be surprised by the mystery person's reveal should not read on, as WWE spoilers may follow in this article. So if you want to avoid spoilers from what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw next week, I'm probably going to leave you a time at this point that you can skip ahead in the video, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they want to watch Monday Night Raw with a fresh set of eyes. But then again, you're probably going to be spoiled anyways, so continue watching my video, please. Ha 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 ha. Moving on here with the article. According to a Sportskeeda report from Friday, former WWE Raw General Manager Eric Bischoff was speaking on his recent Bischoff on Wrestling podcast and talked about the Angle storyline. Bischoff mentioned that he might be burning a bridge with this one, and hopefully nobody gets in trouble over this because leaks happen. The former WCW and WWE star brought up the TNA storyline from the past, which involved former TNA Impact Wrestling star AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, and Claire Lynch. Apparently WWE is taking a page out of TNA's book, and looks like they're ripping off that story, according to Bischoff. That Impact Wrestling storyline came during 2012 and involved AJ Styles and TNA boss Dixie Carter. The two had a secret going on, and it seems like they might have been having an affair. However, it was revealed that the pair were actually helping an addicted pregnant woman named Claire Lynch overcome her issues. It resulted in a number of matches involving Styles, Daniels, and Kazarian. I don't know what the hell that name is, but one of those matches eventually helped Styles clear things up with a paternity test. It's unknown if WWE is heading down this sort of path, but they are on a similar one in terms of the story, according to Bischoff. So who exactly was Kurt Angle speaking to on the phone on Raw when he said, "I love you," before hanging up? Bischoff said in his talk that Dixie is Claire and Kurt is AJ. If Bischoff is right, it means that the former TNA boss, Dixie Carter, will in fact show up on next week's episode of Raw. It's a sort of shocking revelation that will probably get the fans talking, and also take another serious shot at the WWE's only real competitor out there by bringing another of their former stars to WWE. Carter has been actively teasing the idea on Twitter and also sending tweets to WWE stars who worked in the TNA before. Just recently, she tweeted, congratulations to AJ Styles for winning the United States title at Madison Square Garden in New York, with Matt Hardy also mentioned in her tweet. In addition to that, she was featured on WWE Network documentary Kurt Angle Homecoming, the WWE 24 series. So her further involvement in a Kurt Angle storyline on Raw makes much more sense now. That Kurt Angle WWE 24, by the way, absolutely fantastic. Must watch. I absolutely recommend that you guys go watch that. I had a fantastic time watching that. Really great scroll through the career of Kurt Angle. Really seeing all those matches and all those moments that made Kurt Angle who he is today. So make sure to go check out that. I want to just leave you guys that plug because it was so goddamn good. So good. But it's unknown if the big story will also be that Kurt Angle and Dixie Carter have some sort of child involved in the situation. But it appears, based on what Bischoff is saying, that they were at the very least having an affair. That means Angle is facing some serious trouble in terms of the fact that he's married to actress Giovanna Yannotti. I don't know. Not only that, but one has to wonder if this could also somehow play into Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, which I think is what's going to happen, and it's the much shittier scenario of the two, but somehow play into Stephanie McMahon and Triple H making their return to Raw to reprimand Angle or relieve him of his Raw general manager duties. Quite possibly, it will also set the stage for a rumored Kurt Angle versus Triple H match at the upcoming SummerSlam pay-per-view. So, a full transcript of Eric Bischoff's podcast discussion is available from the Reddit website. It should be interesting to see how exactly it all unfolds when the next episode of Raw arrives from Nashville, Tennessee on Monday night. This is a big clusterfuck, if you ask me. I mean, all these dramatic storylines that WWE is trying to fit in to their programming is just absolutely ridiculous. It'd be very cool to see Dixie Carter on television. It would be one of those oh shit moments on a WWE screen, seeing Dixie Carter, former president of TNA, just be one of those moments where you're like, holy shit, this is happening. This is something that we would never ever thought we would see on a WWE television, and we're seeing this. But at the same time, you have to believe that WWE is setting up for Kurt Angle versus Triple H, which has been heavily rumored. And how else can you do that than continuing the love triangle that was there between Kurt, Stephanie, and Triple H back when they were feuding in early 2000s, bro. I could totally see that, because remember when Triple H and Kurt Angle were feuding back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and they had that love triangle between Stephanie, Triple H, and Angle, and that was really never finished being told. That storyline there was never very finished being told. So, I mean, maybe that's what they're setting up for, and Jesus Christ, that sounds absolutely fucking terrible at this point in time in the WWE, because Triple H and Stephanie are clearly happily fucking married, and you really do not need to go into that territory. Kurt Angle has kids. He's fucking married. 5 fucking kids, if you'd figure that out if you watch the WWE 24 on the WWE Network. And that's just so overdramatic and bullshit. Then again, I don't understand why WWE had to mix love into this. What I would have done is, yeah, it would be Dixie Carter, but it would be Kurt Angle trying to squeeze Dixie Carter, former president of TNA, into a position at WWE and slowly working her up the ranks and bringing her up as his colleague onto Monday Night Raw, and that clearly would create controversy, and that could end his career, like what he was saying, because of the fact that Dixie Carter is the lady who used to run TNA, and she could try to sabotage WWE from within. Clearly there's bad blood there, and that's controversy in and of itself. Why do you need to make this lovey-dovey, complicated, complex, soap opera-like love story, that's really not necessary, bro. Especially when you're talking about officials with fucking people who have had their careers foretold. You don't need to go into these dramatic storylines anymore. It's Kurt Angle, it's Triple H, it's Dixie Carter, it's Stephanie McMahon. These are all mature people. Yeah, I could see Kurt Angle doing a storyline like this in 2002, bro. But this is 2017. Kurt Angle's a grown-ass man, bro. He is a grown-ass man, and there's no reason for him to be getting involved in these retarded storylines. Yeah, I want to see Kurt Angle step back in a ring, but I don't even want to see him step in a ring with Triple H. I want to see him step in a ring with Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, all of these guys, bro. Not Triple H. Not Triple H. I mean, Jesus Christ, why? What is the necessary appeal there? I mean, there really is none. It makes no goddamn sense to me. And the fact that you need some lovey-dovey love storyline to fucking get that across makes no goddamn sense to me. If you're gonna book it straight up. But even then, I really don't want to see it. So I don't know where you're going with this. We're just going to have to wait till Monday Night Raw. But apparently it could be that TNA storyline that we saw a couple years ago with AJ Styles, Dixie Carter, and whatever that other girl's name is. Tracy? I don't even fucking remember at this point, and I read it 10 minutes ago. But it looks like that's the direction they're going. I don't know about that. I mean, obviously I haven't watched TNA, but it seems okay, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. That truly didn't answer many questions. If anything, it left me with more questions. So, really, there were no spoilers here. I don't know, bro. Let's move on to the next news story. We got this update on Samoa Joe over here. And this looks very interesting. Update on Samoa Joe and his push going on in the summer. Clearly, Samoa Joe just had a huge match with Brock Lesnar this past Sunday at WWE Great Balls of Fire. However you felt about the match, I thought it was very poorly and lazily executed by the WWE, but for right now, I'm going to say that that's besides the point. But, huge match, or huge update on Samoa Joe's push after match with Brock Lesnar at WWE Great Balls of Fire. Let's read this article and then I'll give you my thoughts. At WWE Great Balls of Fire, Samoa Joe failed to capture the WWE Universal title from Brock Lesnar, but his momentum and status on WWE television has changed for the better. As a result of his strong showing against the Beast Incarnate, Joe has cemented his position as a top heel on Raw. Joe is riding a big wave of momentum right now, which could put him in a rematch with Lesnar at WWE SummerSlam next month. It's been reported that Brock Lesnar was extremely happy with the match he had with Joe on Sunday. Brock liked that he was physically challenged by him and ultimately make him even look stronger for defeating an opponent with Joe's experience and brutality in the ring. Since Lesnar likes working with Joe, it's very likely that their feud will continue heading into WWE SummerSlam, but could include some other major players. There is a lot of speculation that the WWE Universal title match at WWE SummerSlam will be a fatal four-way with Lesnar defending the title against Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns, which I predicted, bro. I hate all these other people online saying, oh, I predicted this, oh, I predicted this, oh, I predicted this. I was thinking of this since fucking April, bro. I remember being on the fucking bus and saying, what would be the best plans for SummerSlam right now? You're not going to have Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar in a singular because WWE is fucking retarded and they're not going to give all the spotlight to Samoa Joe. Roman Reigns is clearly their top dog and they want Roman Reigns in that Universal title picture, but at the same time, they don't want fucking Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam because everybody would shit on that. And then you got Braun Strowman, who speaks for himself as one of the most improved talents, or one of the most shining talents on Monday Night Raw. Been the best thing on Monday Night Raw before he got injured for a long, long, long time. And, I mean, So Braun Strowman clearly deserves it. And I was thinking of that all the way back in April, bro. I was thinking of that. Maybe not April, but definitely early May, bro. Definitely early May. And everybody wants to say, oh, I predicted this. Oh, I predicted this. I've been fucking predicting it since May. You can go to probably an edition of Behind the Mic back if you want to fucking search to that shit, or a Monday Night Raw review somewhere, and I was saying that the best possible scenario for SummerSlam would be a Battle of the Behemoths type thing, because WWE clearly loves their big, sweaty men, and of course, if they can get a match that everybody would love to see with four of their biggest, sweatiest men in modern day WWE, that'd be fucking marketing gold. Braun Strowman, who speaks for himself as one of the most physical, biggest guys on that WWE roster today. Roman Reigns, physical as hell, their top dog. Clearly, he's a big guy. He's going to be in that match. Samoa Joe, the fucking chicken sandwich eating asshole, according to Kevin Dunn, but that's besides the point. But Samoa Joe, 280 pounds, former two-time NXT champion. Joe is pretty big, speaks for himself again. Samoa Joe, pretty big guy. And then Brock Lesnar. Do I even need to speak about how big Brock Lesnar is? You can clearly market that as a battle of the Titans, or a battle of the Behemoths, or a battle of the top guys. I don't fucking know, but there's clearly something to market there. And I mean, it's clearly the way they're going to go going into SummerSlam. But continuing with this article, if that's the case, it's likely to be set up during next week's edition of Raw. Samoa Joe will likely be involved in the Universal title match at SummerSlam. However, does Joe have a real chance of walking out of Brooklyn with that title? I hope so, bro. I hope so. According to a new report, WWE officials are serious about Lesnar dropping the title next month at WWE SummerSlam. The powers that be want the championship back on Raw every week, and the favorite to win the title is Roman Reigns. However, Joe is currently on a hot streak, and WWE officials could make the decision to give him the title now and have him a long title reign until the WWE Royal Rumble. On paper, WWE officials still want to do Lesnar versus Reigns at WrestleMania 34 next year in New Orleans. A WWE Universal title reign for Samoa Joe would likely last until the Royal Rumble. A rematch between Joe and Lesnar would take place, with Brock regaining the championship, which would lead to Lesnar versus Reigns on the grandest stage of them all. With that plan, WWE officials would have to sacrifice Joe's momentum. The WWE Universe knew it was only a matter of time before Samoa Joe made a huge impact on Raw. He is too experienced and talented to be stuck in the mid-card. The fact is that he may have just earned himself a huge push heading into WWE SummerSlam. Next week's edition of Raw will be pivotal to show that WWE officials have planned, or what WWE officials have planned for the Universal title. After next week, Samoa Joe's future in WWE should be clear for the next couple months. I would love to see Samoa Joe walk out of SummerSlam with the Universal title. I think that is the best decision, because clearly there is still a dynamic for Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, and you're not going to abandon that feud with Roman Reigns going on to his festivities with that Universal title. It makes no sense for Roman Reigns to win the Universal title at SummerSlam, because clearly, if it's in a Fatal 4-Way, you want that rematch between Lesnar and Reigns, and you're not going to have Reigns versus Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. I don't think that's big enough, or that's not what WWE wants. And I think after SummerSlam, next time Lesnar's appearing is the Royal Rumble, and it clearly doesn't make sense for Lesnar to wait that long for a rematch. So that doesn't fit into plans at all. But you look at Samoa Joe. He's been on a huge hot streak. You know Lesnar wants a rematch with Samoa Joe. You know we want a rematch with Lesnar and Samoa Joe. You want to solidify Samoa Joe as the top heel. There's been rumors that Lesnar's going to work the next 3 pay-per-views. It's Great Balls of Fire, WWE SummerSlam, and then the pay-per-view, Raw exclusive pay-per-view that comes after SummerSlam, which I believe is No Mercy. So, I mean, if that rumor is true, we could see a rematch between Joe and Lesnar at No Mercy, and we could see the match we finally want to see, where Joe comes out on top against Brock Lesnar in his first Universal title defense, which then I feel like would be very, very good. I don't know where you want to go with this, but I feel like Samoa Joe, he's on the biggest hot streak. You saw what he did last week, or this week I should say at this point, on Monday Night Raw last Monday. In that segment, he brought the intensity into the segment. I would go as far as to say as he brought the spotlight and the intensity to that segment more so than Paul Heyman, more so than Brock Lesnar. And those are two guys that know how to bring the intensity to a segment, and I feel like Joe outshined them in that segment. So that speaks volumes. What he's been doing on Raw for the past couple weeks, what he's been doing his entire career, absolutely fantastic in the ring. Samoa Joe deserves a Universal title run, and if you can fit that in from now to WrestleMania, I feel like we could be in for something very, very good, and I would put the title on Samoa Joe. Leave your comments down below. Who would you put the title on in this Fatal 4-Way, which is inevitably at this point going to happen? For now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next news story. We got this fucking retarded news story on Big Cass. It's about Big Cass, and he is apparently getting heat backstage because of the fact that he is a Donald Trump supporter. Now, this is very cut and dry simple. Let's just read the article here. Reports claim that there's a WWE Monday Night Raw superstar who isn't well liked by the boys and girls in the locker room, apparently because of his open support of U.S. President Donald Trump. But even if the rumors are true, and Big Cass is a strong Trump supporter, it appears that he's far from being the least popular wrestler in the Raw locker room, while also looking to be in good shape regarding his rising spot on the Red Brand's roster. A report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter suggests that Big Cass has been the subject of some locker room heat in recent weeks, mainly due to his political viewpoints, as Big Cass reportedly supports the Trump presidency that has left the former tag team competitor alongside Enzo Amore before their recent on-air split, openly championing an unpopular cause in the Monday Night Raw locker room. The above report, however, added that Cass still has the support of WWE management, what with his recent match against Enzo Amore at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, resulting in a convincing win for the 7-foot-tall giant. That should mean more opportunities for him going forward, as WWE presumably continues to groom him as main event talent in the making. The Wrestling Observer added that it might also help that Linda McMahon, wife of WWE chairman, is part of the Donald Trump administration. Even with Big Cass Trump support allegedly getting him heat with his Monday Night Raw colleagues, it looks like he's in far better position popularity-wise than his ex-tag team partner Enzo Amore, which is what we reported earlier in the evening. It was actually our main story. As the Inquisitor wrote earlier today, Roman Reigns reportedly asserted himself as a locker room leader of sorts, kicking Enzo off of the WWE tour bus for his own case of backstage heat. No specific reason was given for Amore's alleged unpopularity with his locker roommates, but it's speculated that he has been unhappy with WWE's decision to break up Enzo and Cass ahead of Great Balls of Fire. Big Cass, that purported Donald Trump supporter, the purported, I don't know what the fuck that word is, I'm going to be honest with you, the purported, or the supposed Donald Trump supporter, appeared on this week's Monday Night Raw to cut a promo about his Great Balls of Fire victory against Enzo Amore and how that win should lead to much bigger things to come. Enzo, however, was nowhere near to be seen on Monday Night Raw as Big Show emerged and said to shut Cass up and put him in his place. Although an article published by comicbook.com after the 2016 presidential election suggests that a lot of present-day WWE superstars weren't pleased with Donald Trump's victory, Sportskeeda has previously enumerated a few other wrestlers who openly supported the man who could or who would become 45th President of the United States. This list included retired WWE legends as Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase Sr., and Kevin Nash, as well as veteran WWE commentator Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon himself. Does the new report, or that's just a fucking question, I'm not fucking talking about that. But, Who cares? Who cares is my fucking opinion to this. Who cares if Donald Trump or if Big Cass supports Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, the fucking Bernie Sanders? He can support aliens for all I fucking care. It does not matter, bro. He is a WWE wrestler. It doesn't matter his political standpoint. Is he a fucking politician? No, he's not. So why are you criticizing the guy? Why are you writing reports about the guy being a Donald Trump supporter and getting backstage heat because of this? Why is he getting backstage heat because of this? If I was Big Cass, which I wouldn't support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a complete fucking buffoon, bro. He really only benefits people with shmoney, bro. And I mean, Big Cass working for the WWE probably making money. But if you don't got shit, which I feel like I don't got shit, I do have nothing. If you don't got shit, Trump isn't the guy for you. Hillary Clinton wasn't the woman for you. But I'm not here to talk politics. Both our candidates in 2016 were fucking bullshit, and it was really a case of picking who the fuck was the least worst, which sounds absolutely awful, bro. It was about choosing who the least worst was, and if Big Cass thought that Donald Trump was the least worst, let him be. That has nothing to do with his professional career, and I'm glad WWE officials aren't allowing that to get in the way of his push, because really, it doesn't matter who the fuck you fucking support for office. You can support fucking my grandma for office for all I care. It doesn't matter. It really is of nobody's concern. It does not concern me. And the fact that this is a story is absolutely ridiculous. But as for now, Enzo and Cass are still a team, bro. They're both getting the same amount of backstage heat. Enzo is actually getting backstage heat for a reason. And Big Cass, not so much. Let's move on from this ridiculous news story. And we're moving on to a news story that's probably even more ridiculous on top of what is already a very ridiculous news story that we just covered. This Paige and Alberto Del Rio scenario. Oh my god. Is there a lot to talk about? Or Alberto El Patron, whatever the hell you want to talk about, call him. But, I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. Jesus Christ, what a loaded scenario this is. Alberto El Patron suspended from GFW, and he is their current world champion. Alleged domestic dispute with Paige forces GFW, or TNA, because they merged, to discipline new champion. Reigning GFW World Heavyweight Champion Alberto El Patron has been suspended by the company amid allegations that he was involved in a domestic dispute with his fiancée, WWE wrestler Paige. In a brief statement issued today by Global Force Wrestling, formerly TNA Impact Wrestling, the company announced that it has suspended Alberto El Patron, real name Jose Alberto Rodriguez, indefinitely and with immediate effect. Although GFW did not mention anything about the nature of the investigation being conducted, the company was referring to an incident in Orlando, Florida, where witnesses claimed Alberto El Patron and Paige were involved in a violent argument. A report from TMZ specifically claims Alberto Del Rio had roughed up his female companion, from whom witnesses had identified as Paige. Alberto El Patron's suspension is the latest development in what has been a very trying past few weeks for the couple, as reported by the Inquisitor. El Patron and Paige, real name Soraya Jade Beavis, had broken up late last month on vacation while in Orlando, only for the couple to reunite a few days later. On July 2nd, Paige supposedly showed up in a mask to support Alberto as he defeated Bobby Lashley for the GFW World Heavyweight Championship at the Slammiversary pay-per-view, an event where El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio in WWE, went on a profane post-show rant against his former employers, aka the big nose fuck Triple H and the gruntled up old man, or whatever the hell he calls Vince. But controversial as that rant was, it has nothing to do with Alberto El Patron getting suspended, as things got even more heated for Alberto and Paige over the weekend. A witness told Heavy that El Patron and Paige's argument Sunday at the Orlando airport stemmed from comments Alberto had made about Paige's uncle Stanley, who is severely ill at the moment. This is from a source. From what I gather, he said something like, "I hope your fucking uncle dies tomorrow," and grabs her wrist because he was mad she was on the phone for so long. They wanted to leave, so he got mad and grabbed her wrist. She got upset and threw water on him, and she ran out. That's from an unnamed source, a source that spoke to I believe this article, or the people who wrote this article, and she chose to remain unnamed, this source. We know it was a woman, but she chose to remain unnamed, and she said that about the scenario that she witnessed. The witness, who asked that she not be named, claimed to have heard Paige scream at Alberto for being abusive after doing coke, because I got a message here, let me turn off my ringer, after doing coke for 2 days straight. She also alleged that El Patron had reeked of alcohol at the time the incident was taking place. Meanwhile, the accusations against Alberto El Patron are mounting in the light of his suspension, as Paige's family has recently been active on social media, showing their concern for the 24-year-old former WWE Divas champion. Yesterday, Wrestling Inc. quoted a Facebook post from Paige's brother, Zach Beavis, in which the English wrestler expressed fears that his sister may turn out like late pop stars Whitney Houston and Amy Winehouse, both of whom had died young after going through myriad of personal and substance abuse issues in their lives. Zach had also called out Paige's ex-boyfriend, former WWE superstar Brad Maddox. You know the situation there. Brad Maddox, all the sex tapes he had with Paige. He called out former WWE superstar Brad Maddox for taking advantage of her during her teenage years, as well as El Patron for allegedly physically abusing her. I've got to say that I'm very worried. This is Paige's brother's talking. I've got to say that I'm very worried about my sister. Please keep an eye on her. She had one prook. I don't know what the hell that word is. They censor it out a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's some English curse. I don't know. But she had one censored word known as Brad Maddox, who took advantage of her, an 18-year-old girl, physically and mentally abused her. If I can fucking speak here, that would be nice. And now she's with a control freak who thinks that he's a tough guy because he beats my sister and has money to cover his tracks. In a more recent report focusing on Alberto El Patron's suspension, Wrestling Inc. also cited social media posts from Paige's other family members, including older half-brother Roy Beavis and father Ricky Knight. Roy alleges that his family has a photographic evidence that El Patron has been beating Paige over the past 6 months, and that Alberto is the main reason why Paige has yet to return to WWE television. At the moment, it isn't clear if Alberto El Patron's suspension will force GFW to strip him of his World Heavyweight Championship. After reading all that, they fucking should strip this guy of his World Championship. After reading all that, this guy deserves to be suspended from GFW, Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever the hell you want to call it, because if it's true that Alberto Del Rio is doing these things, and Paige has come out, it wasn't cited in this article because it happened after this article was reported, and I don't want to read that story, that's a whole nother thing. Paige has been saying that he didn't do this. She's trying to cover his tracks, but when Paige's entire family, her entire family is coming out and saying that Alberto has been abusing her, when he's under report, when there are witnesses saying this, can you really deny that Alberto is doing things like this to Paige, somebody who is significantly younger than him at, how old is Paige, 24, 25 years of age? This guy is a grown-ass man almost in his 40s, and he's taking advantage of this young girl, this young teenage girl who, whether you like it or not, is still young, is still trying to figure out her life, and she, who was in a prime position, could go back and be in a prime position right now in the WWE. He is trying to let out his frustrations for the WWE through her by intentionally trying to get fired, and you can tell that he's intentionally trying to get her fired, making all these videos, cursing out Triple H, going on all these rants, cursing out Triple H, Vince McMahon, the entire WWE, with Paige in the fucking background. It's clear he's trying to get her fired from the WWE. If anything, he is a maniacal control freak, is Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto El Patron, or Alberto fuck you, because that's what he deserves. He deserves a big fuck you right to the face, because Paige, this innocent young girl who doesn't know shit about life yet, who doesn't know shit about fucking being a responsible adult yet, from what it seems here, is letting herself be controlled by this older man who she probably started dating because she thought it was cool to be dating a guy who's so much older than her. She thought it was neat and fucking it was nice for her, but really, look at how it's turning out. Now there are issues all over the place. There's issues with her career, there's issues with her family, there's issues in her entire personal life, and she's a celebrity, and now these issues are getting out to the world, and people like me are sitting here reporting this, and this sounds fucking awful, bro. If I was GFW, I would reprimand fucking Alberto Del Rio or Alberto El Patron. I would reprimand him like nothing else. If this was my champion, my world champion, and he was going out doing shit like this, drinking, being a crackhead, if there were reports of domestic violence issues, I would strip him from holding that world title, because not only is Alberto El Patron a fucking wrestler who's gonna set standard for everyone. He's your world champion. He's setting standard for that locker room. People want to be where Alberto El Patron is, in that GFW locker room, and if you're letting him set this standard of, oh, I can drink, I can be doing all these drugs, I could be getting domestic violence reports out under my name, and I can still be your world champion, what example does that set for the rest of the roster? Not a good one. This is a very, very, very bad situation, and I think it's a situation they need to get out of. So I would fire Alberto Del Rio. Case closed. That's all I gotta say about this. For now, I'm gonna move on to the closing segments of this fucking show. Alberto Del Rio should be fucking fired. Poor Paige. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed every single little thing you heard on this episode of Behind the Mic, episode number 28. I hope you enjoyed every single little thing, because there was a lot to talk about here. Because of time restraints, we did cut out the Ronda Rousey story, but that doesn't matter, because there was still a lot of beefy shit in this Behind the Mic, a lot of big fucking stories. Every single story that I covered here was huge in my opinion, and besides the big cast one, that one was kind of ridiculous, and I only covered it to point out the ridiculousness of it. But besides that, each and every story was really major news stories that could headline any news videos for the WWE, and I'm packing that all into one episode, and that's why you should subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel to stay tuned to all the good content we have in the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Monday Night Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews. Best way to stay tuned to that is by subscribing to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and of course clicking on that notification bell. If you like what you heard in this video, which you should have, make sure to click on that like button. Did you know it turns a nice blue color? Very serene, nice blue color. Test that out for me, bro. See if yours works. Just click it once and we'll all be happy, right? You get that blue color, I get a like, we're all happy. Make sure to comment what y'all thought of all these news stories. If you had any outstanding opinions, anything that I missed when talking about this news story, make sure, or these news stories, make sure to comment in the comment section down below. Of course, make sure to go check out all the other content. Links down in the descriptions, fucking end card screen at the end of the videos. Of course, cards on the side, you can press that little I, and you got 3 of the last videos I did. And of course, make sure to stay tuned to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Pay-per-view reviews, Raw, Smackdown reviews, behind the mic each and every single Saturday, and preview and predictions for the pay-per-views, random news stories all throughout the week. Just a lot of good stuff on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, over 200 videos, so make sure to stay tuned to all that good stuff by subscribing to the channel. For now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for me, and that is going to be it for your weekly episodic news show, Behind the Mic, episode number 28. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Joel Perez of the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video, and if I don't upload anything tomorrow on Sunday, you will see me on Monday for your Monday Night Raw review.